Good morning. I want to welcome everybody who's joining us virtually. Welcome on YouTube, Facebook, and Zoom. I want to welcome folks that are coming into the room to join us. We're going to get started. Quick explanation. Our musician that was scheduled for this morning was unable to join us for personal reasons, and so we are going to redo our music from last week, Gary Lynn Floyd, through the magic of technology. And so I invite you to enjoy.
All right, I'd like you to sing this with me. It's called Carry This Love. You at home, you can sing it too. Sing it back to me too. I'll sing a line, you sing a line. Here we go. We have come here to love one another. You sing. We have come here to love one another. Beautiful. We have come here to let our love show. You sing. We have come here to let our love show. We are family, we're sisters and brothers. You sing. We are family, we're sisters and brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this. Oh, okay. I didn't know if we were going to go. I'm reading the lyrics as you are. So, all right, here we go. Let's sing that again. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love show. Sing. We are family. We're sisters and brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we. Next part goes. We carry this love. Carry this love. We carry this love. We carry this love everywhere that we go. All right, you sound great. Let's sing it again from the top. We have come here. We have come here to love one another. We have come here to let our love show. We our family, we're sisters and brothers, and we carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this love, beautiful. We carry this love. We carry this love. We carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this love. Carry this love everywhere that we go. We carry this love everywhere that we go. One more. We carry this love everywhere that we go. Beautiful. Oh, thank you. Are there two in a row here? Yeah. Oh, okay. Don't mind me. All right, this one is a great song that I found by a band called Guru Singh. And it goes like this. It's very simple. It goes, to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident, that the infinite, whatever it is, will take care of it. We're so fortunate, let's sing it. To be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate, sing it like you mean it. To be confident, that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate. Now listen to this part. God is the boat, and God is the boatman. It's by God's grace we're gonna cross this earthly ocean. We learn our lessons from the sun. It shines equally on everyone. But when the sun don't shine, we learn it from the rain. If falls equally on everyone the same. Sing it with me. To be confident, yeah, that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. Yeah, we're so fortunate. And one more time, God is the boat, God is the boatman. By God's grace, we've gone across this earthly ocean. We learn our lessons from the sun. It shines equally on everyone. But when the sun don't shine, we learn it from the rain. It falls equally on everyone the same. Here we go. To be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. Yeah. We're so fortunate, claim it, to be confident that the infinite will take care of it. We're so fortunate.
Ah, even on replay, he is such a blessing, is he not? All right. So I want to welcome everybody who's joined us online during our first two songs. My name is Reverend Rafe Ellis, and I am so honored and privileged to be the senior minister here at Sierra Center for Spiritual Living. And one of the things I get to do is remind us of who we are and share with you who we are. We are a radically inclusive, spiritually progressive, supportive community that celebrates the very diversity of creation. We strive to live authentic spiritual lives through a practical application of the teachings of science of mind. We engage in sacred practices that uplift our spirit, that deepen our awareness, and ignite our soul's self-expression. We demonstrate active compassion to ourselves, to one another, and the world. We experience meaningful contribution through giving generously of our time, talents, and treasures. And we intentionally, on purpose, promote our community and our teachings. And if you happen to be joining us through the live stream, you can participate in sharing this live stream on your social media feed. Share it on email to our YouTube site, Sierra Spiritual. It just makes it available to anybody who wants it. Hey, Jamal. So one of the things that we do every Sunday is our inclusion candle lighting ritual, and we do that to demonstrate our inclusivity. And I've asked our board treasurer, Hillary, to come light the candles with me this morning. There you go. And so we light these candles to celebrate the unity of all people, all faiths, all beings, all life. We light the first candle for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and practices of all indigenous peoples. We light the second candle for Hinduism, honoring the path of knowledge, action, and devotion. We light the third candle for Taoism, honoring the path of ultimate reality, the natural way. We light the fourth candle for Judaism, honoring the ethical path of living by sacred law. We light the fifth candle for all forms of Buddhism, honoring the middle way and path of compassion. We light the sixth candle for all forms of Christianity, honoring the teachings of Jesus as the path of love, forgiveness, and healing by the presence within. We light the seventh candle for all forms of Islam, honoring the path of submission to the will of God as the highest calling. We light the eighth candle for the religion of Baha'i, honoring the path of unity and peace. We light the ninth candle for all forms of New Thought teachings, honoring the metaphysical path of mental healing through the practice of spiritual principles of love and law. We light the 10th candle for absolute inclusivity, affirming and honoring that all are welcome and celebrated here. And we light this final candle, honoring the infinity of oneness as all creation, seen and unseen. Thank you, Hillary. Who knew blowing out a candle would be a two-person activity? And so now we're going to go back and enjoy another song by our brother Gary Lynn Floyd. Here we go.
This is a song called One Step at a Time. I wrote it with my friend Amy Bishop. Lighting the candles reminds me, the mountain kind of represents spirituality and all the paths that lead up to the same spot on the top of the mountain. So this song goes like this. Gonna climb this mountain, I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it, I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Sing that with me. Gonna climb this mountain. Gonna climb this mountain. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. This line is a little different, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. I provided the lyrics, so that's why that's that way. So let's go back to the top again. Gonna climb this mountain. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it. Here we go. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. This one has a little more words to it. Goes. Leave behind what's weighing me down. Wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling. Sing that part with me. Leave behind what's weighing me down. Wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling. Next part goes. Face forward, feet on the ground. Living in this courage I found. The sky is calling. I wrote fast, but it's face. Face forward, feet on the ground. Living in this courage I found. The sky is calling. Back to the top. Here we go. Gonna climb this mountain. I won't stop till I get to the top. Beautiful. One step at a time. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Leave behind what's weighing me down. Leave behind what's weighing me down. Wash away what's holding me back. My heart is falling. My heart is falling. Face forward. Face forward, feet on the ground. Living in this courage I found. The sky is calling. Sing that line one more time. The sky is calling. Yeah, one more time. The sky is calling. Then back to the top, let's climb it. Gonna climb this mountain. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. You sound so beautiful. It's so great for you to sing. No doubt about it. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Back to the top one more time. Gonna climb this mountain. I won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Won't stop till I get to the top. One step at a time. Then the last line. One step at a time. One step at a time. Yeah, one more time. One step at a time. One step at a time. Thank you. Thank you.
So this is our time of announcements, and we had our board meeting this past Thursday, so I'm going to give you some updates from that. We had planned to roll out a fundraiser where the board was going to commit to walking 10,000 steps a day and have people pledge per 10,000 steps that we would walk. And given the particulate matter in the environment these days that doesn't seem to have an immediate relief in sight, we decided that it was better to postpone that until the environment was a little healthier, because it just didn't make sense to put the entire board in the process of walking in an unsafe environment. That just made no sense. And so when we say we are about a practical application of spiritual principles, it just didn't seem very practical to do that, so we're not going to do that. We are going to continue to meet in person. Given the restrictions, we're not going to get into a debate on who's right and who's wrong. We're going to follow the mandates of the local government officials. We're going to continue to honor one another's choices, and we're going to do it free of any guilt, shame, and blame, because the divine intelligence operates in every one of us, and we are choosing to trust that you will access that and attend in respect for everyone here. We've been very blessed. So far, we've been back in person in limited iterations since March, and we've had no exposures traced back to Sunday service, and I believe that that is because people are being conscious and intentional when they show up. That said, if you have any symptoms of anything other than a hangnail, do not come. You can join us virtually until your symptoms are no longer present. So yes, love us enough to not share that with us. And this is really important, okay, if you happen to come and then within the next week come down with symptoms, and especially if it is COVID, please call me. Please, because we need to do contact tracing. It's not about guilt and shame, and one of the things that can happen in our teaching, unfortunately, is, we're a healing order, and, we create our own experience, and sometimes that gets morphed into guilt and shame when we get sick. That's not accurate, and that's not what we teach. We believe in prayer, and we believe in the healing power of prayer. And so as soon as you know you can benefit from prayer, that's the time to call. Don't wait until it's so far over the edge that you're suffering. You don't have to. But please do let us know if something comes up for you. Okay. So the only two structured announcements we have is we do have our bead system. Those of you that are here noticed it on your way in. That helps us communicate what our comfort zone is to one another, so we don't have to have the same conversation over and over and over. If you are most comfortable with people staying 6 feet away from you physically and engaging with you while wearing a mask, then you wear a red strand of beads. If you're figuring it out, if you're just not quite sure and you're kind of just going with that internal feeling moment to moment, you wear a yellow strand. And that signals to people to ask you before they engage with you what your comfort zone is in that moment. And then if you are comfortable having interactions with or without masks, with people hugging, then you wear a green strand, and that communicates that. It's a someone suggested to me that this would just be a good system, whether there was a virus or not, so we could communicate how we want to interact with people. Um, and if we're going to go to that as a universal global thing, I'm going to invest in Mardi Gras beads. Just saying. Okay. Next week, I think it's next week. No, week after. This coming Tuesday is the 31st. So the week after is our monthly Actualizing Wholeness discussion group. That is on September 7th. That is an online offering, so you can join from wherever you are, in the comfort of your home or wherever you access the internet. It is a beautiful time of setting aside everything we think we know and entering into a discussion where we just kind of roll with the ideas that the divine is bringing up without any agenda of going anywhere with it, without any agenda of being right. It's just really a sandbox of consciousness where we just play. And it's fabulous. We have folks that join us from Canada. We've had folks join us from Arizona, so we get to really participate with folks that we don't normally get to hang out with. So I invite you to join us for that. Okay, so again, through the magic of technology, our practitioner this morning is our ministerial intern, Julia Robles Scott, who is joining us from her home in Oregon this morning. Here we go.
Well, good morning, beloved community. My name is Julia Robles Scott, and I am honored to serve you as practitioner today. Our core value we are revisiting today is authenticity. So what does authenticity mean? In Wikipedia, we find authenticity is the degree to which a person's actions are congruent with his or her beliefs and desires, despite external pressures to conformity. So when I look around at what is going on in our world today, I see, hear, and feel external pressures to conformity. In these times of seeming polarity and separation, I think it's especially important for us to remember these words written by our founder, Ernest Holmes, in Living the Science of Mind. He's writing about the silent one within. This supreme being is at the center of each one of us. To it we may come for guidance, and from it we may draw both inspiration and the power to live, stand, walk, or sit. Every act is an outcome of consciousness. Every movement is within the divine being. And since the divine being is everywhere, it must also be at the center of our own life. It is not only at the center of our own life, it is that center. Hence, to think of it as the very essence of our own being is clear thinking. To know that its being is our being is right knowing. And to declare that its life is our life is to permit its power to flow through us. So in order for us to live authentic lives, we can see the importance of taking the time to consciously connect with the silent one within us, in that place where all our answers lie. That place within us that lets us know what is ours to do and how to live our lives as it would have us live them. So as we begin to prepare to go into our meditation, let us remember that all of us are living the life of the one in unique ways, and that we are all a part of the whole of life that is the one. And now I invite us to go even deeper within, bringing our awareness to the silent one within us as we move into our affirmative prayer. As I bring my awareness to this breath, I remember that which breathes me. It is the in-breath and out-breath of God, of Spirit, that one infinite creator of all life, the seen and unseen. It breathes me and it breathes everything, everyone. It is the breath of life, in, through, and as all. And so as I take this next breath, I relax into the knowingness that there is only one of us, that all appearances of separation are but an illusion, and every circumstance is an opportunity to remember the truth of our oneness, that we are all God in form, and that we are each here for a divine purpose, that we are each here to play our part in that beautiful symphony of life. We are each a golden thread in the tapestry of life. We are each a unique individualization of that one being that is love, that is light, that is power, that is infinite. And as I remember this truth, I remember that life is eternal, that we are on this journey together, walking with one another back to that place of light, of remembrance, of the beauty and the truth of who we are. We are one in spirit, forever and ever. And so knowing this as our truth, I claim for us, each one, for myself and everyone here, all living beings, all sentient beings, that we are all connected by that golden thread that can never be broken, by that infinite eternal bond of love. And it is that love that goes beyond imagining, that which we can't even describe. And so, because we have chosen to be here on the planet together, right here, right now, during these amazing times of spiritual evolution, of awakening, of remembering who we are, I give thanks for each unique being, for each unique individualized expression that I know is God in form, that I know contains the infinite intelligence, that same intelligence that created the universes, right? There is no place where God is not. And so I look past the separation consciousness and shine light on the truth that there is only oneness, that I am playing my part for you and you are playing your part for me, that we are playing our parts for the whole of humanity and all of creation, for we are connected to all of creation. So each thought, word, deed, action affects the whole. And so I give thanks for this opportunity to come together in consciousness, to remember this truth, to remember that what's going on right now in us and outside of us is the same thing. It's the opportunity for awakening. It's this opportunity to come together. And how can I play my part to support that oneness and togetherness? How can I let go of my illusions of separation? How can I expand my consciousness to hold all of creation, to hold everyone's ideas, thoughts, beliefs, recognizing that it is the one living each one's life, that there is only one life, that this is God's life, this life is perfect, and this is my life now. It's always been and always will be. It is our eternal truth in this eternal moment of now. And so I give thanks for everyone who has come together this day to play their part, their unique individual part, to bring this service to fruition, to be of service to one another. I give thanks for the musicians, the volunteers, for the leadership, and for Rafe. Knowing that the Sierra Center for Spiritual Living is a divine idea in the mind of God, and that this consciousness that we collectively cultivate is not only blessing ourselves, but each one here, and it goes out into the world, into our community. It is that ripple effect. It is like a wave of healing. It is a blanket of love. And so I give thanks for everything that's happening. It's all in divine right order and on purpose. I've called it into being to remind me who I am. And so from this place of consciousness of oneness, I simply say thank you. Thank you to the one who is the all. As I release this word into the law, knowing it as our truth. I let it go, I let it be, and so it is. Now it's time for our affirmation. I will read it out loud first, and then we will read it together. Today I rise and re-emerge, fully nourished, restored, and renewed. Today I rise and re-emerge, fully nourished, restored, and renewed. Namaste.
You got your views and I got mine. We come together in a moment in time. I hope you hear me with your heart. I'm not trying to push you away. I got something I gotta say. I stand for love. I stand for peace. I stand for humanity and the good of all. I stand for hope. I stand for faith. I stand for freedom and the good of all. I stand. I stand. I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand. I stand. I stand. Would you stand with me? What we don't understand, we turn realize that there could be a better way? Can we just agree to disagree? We may never see things eye to eye, but let's hold on to the love between you and I. It's the only way we survive. I'm not trying to push you away. I got something I've got to say. I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for humanity and the good of all. I stand for hope, I stand for faith, I stand for freedom and the good of all. I stand, you sing it if you want. I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand for science, for gay rights, Black Lives Matter, a woman's right to choose. I stand for climate change and diversity. I stand for humanity and the good of all. I stand, sing it with me. I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand for love, I stand for peace, I stand for humanity and the good of all. I stand for hope, I stand for faith, I stand for freedom and the good of all. I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? I stand, I stand, I stand. Would you stand with me? Stand with me. Stand with me.
Let's take a breath together. I was just allowing myself to be immersed in Gary's song and had an experience of Bishop Yvette Flunder, City of Refuge in the city in San Francisco. She did a talk years ago. Stop lying. Stop lying. And I think we're there. Today's topic is rise and reemerge. And I've been very much aware all week that we tend to think of the word rise from a place of first we had to fall somewhere. What if we don't? What if we don't have to fall down in order to rise to a higher place? Now, I know I'm not the only one in this room that has ever been on a diet and experienced that thing called a plateau, right? I don't have to put the weight back on when I hit a plateau. I can just rest there for a bit and then rise again. Right? But somehow we have gotten it in our collective consciousness that in order to rise, first we have to go lower. No, we don't. No, we don't. But you wouldn't know that from our experience of society right now, would we? We have gone to places that even being raised in the South in the 60s in Jim Crow. We've gone to places of hatred and vitriol that blow my mind. Right? And it's like, what is wrong with us? And spiritually, nothing. Absolutely nothing. And that's a challenge to dance with. Right? I go back to my litmus test for living life. The whole purpose of Science of Mind is to reconcile the apparent separation of the spiritual world, which must be perfect, and the material world, which appears imperfect. The spiritual world is the cause of the material. What that means is it's the source. Right? It's the essence. It's what the material world is made out of. We tend to hear cause as blame. So if we want to blame the spiritual world, the physical world on the spiritual world, heavens knows there are lots of places we can do that. Right? We've all blamed God for something. But what we fail to do is understand that God is operating as us. As us. And so when we're blaming God, we're actually taking responsibility without recognizing it. It's a cute little twist there, but I hate to tell you, that's what's actually happening. We are spiritual beings governed by mental law. What that means, it's not government like we understand government in this human realm. What it's saying is that there are natural spiritual laws that we can't escape. Gravity. If you think you can escape gravity, I hope you have good insurance while you're trying to prove it. Because you're not going to be successful. Gravity is gravity. It is what it is. Natural law is what it is. And the bottom line is our thoughts create our feelings create our urges create our actions create our experience of life. That's how it works. Ernest Holmes goes on. We are spiritual beings governed by mental law. Only that world can appear to us which we mentally perceive. That's where our work is today, folks. We have to shift our mental picture of ourselves, of humanity, of COVID, of what's happening in Afghanistan, of a hurricane that is about to do what natural law does in weather, and the people in Louisiana who are in its path. We have to quit caring what other people think and get clear about what we think. There's an African tradition called Ubuntu, which literally means I am who I am because of who you are. You are who you are because of who I am. Now that's oneness. That's oneness. That is a belief that recognizes the wholeness of creation. That everything I think, say, and do shows up everywhere. Everywhere. This idea that there is an actual separate self that has an agenda that doesn't impact other people is just wrong. It's just incorrect. And we are hurting ourselves by hurting other people. I have had one of the most painful weeks in my 61 years on the planet. I have gotten nasty emails And I don't even know who they're coming from. Because whoever is so dedicated to blasting this iteration of God with their stuff, they go through the trouble to create a ghost email account, send the email, and then cancel the account. On some level, I'm amused. On some level, I'm honored that they would take that much time and energy. But the vitriol is still painful. It is still painful to have someone say, I don't know if you've noticed, but you're white and you need to shut up about black lives. Ain't gonna happen. Whoever you are, wherever you are, not gonna happen. In fact, you kind of fuel it because it tells me I'm being heard. Black lives do matter. They do. And I would invite anyone that has trouble wrapping that around their mouth to say it, to investigate, why is that hard for you to say? Because that's not saying your life doesn't matter. But if that's what you hear, that's your work in consciousness to do. I've had emails telling me that nobody cares if I'm transgender. Great. But it's not true, because other transgender people care. We have other members of this community, this Sierra Center for Spiritual Living, that are transgender. They care. We have families in our Sierra Center community that have transgender relatives. They care. Because it makes it visible. It makes it legitimized in this human realm. Because unfortunately, the supremacy that we've created says only one thing matters. And that's not accurate. Stop lying. Stop lying. I listen to people talk about what's happening in COVID and vaccines or no vaccines, masks or no masks, as body autonomy. But they won't stand with women on the power of choice on what to do with their body. Stop lying. You're not about body autonomy. You're about your personal agenda when it comes to the vaccine and wearing masks, because you have interpreted that as a violation of your freedom, and freedom is not liberty. There is a difference. Freedom comes with responsibility. Liberty doesn't give a rat's rear end about anybody else. Stop lying. We talk about caring for one another, and then we behave in the most uncaring manner. Stop lying. Just stop it. It is more kind, more authentic, more in integrity to say, this is my personal agenda. I don't care how it impacts you. I am all about me because I don't see that I am connected to you at all. Just tell the truth. Stop lying. At least people don't have to be confused by what's coming out of your mouth anymore. Stop lying. Ubuntu. I am because you are. You are because I am. See, I can't say that without feeling something. And if you can't say it, practice. Practice. It's a simple word, but it comes with a vibration. It comes with a vibration that lifts you up to a different vibration. We are all just energy pods. I know we look like bodies, but we're just energy pods Ernest Holmes used to call our human form our meat suits. Right? It's just the vehicle that the energy of the divine is traveling in. There is no separation. This challenge of oneness, that's the human journey right there. We can teach it a million different ways. But the reality is, we're just doing one thing. We are remembering over and over and over. We remember and we forget. We remember, we forget that we're one. That we're one. And in a world where everything looks separate, that's hard sometimes. It's hard when someone is nasty to you, to, as Julia said in her prayer, to look beyond the behavior and see God, to see the divine, to see Spirit. It's not easy. I'm not going to stand here and tell you this thing of spiritual oneness is a cakewalk. It's not. It is the hardest thing I have ever done. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. Because in the moments when I get it, in the moments when I can look people in the eye and know that I am looking at God, looking back at God, and I let myself feel that, nothing else matters. It doesn't matter where I live. It doesn't matter what I look like. It doesn't matter what I have or what I don't have. In that moment, it's that place in the serenity prayer where I am granted serenity. And in that serenity, I can accept the things I cannot change. In that place of serenity, in that place of recognizing oneness, I am the courage to change the things I can. And I exemplify the wisdom to know the difference. And I stop trying to control other people, and I just love. See, that what we're called to do, when Ernest Holmes says, only that world can appear to us which we mentally perceive, what we're being called to mentally perceive is the godness that we all are. That whatever it is that gave us 100% free will and never pulls away, never rejects us, never judges us, never condemns us, never sends us nasty emails. It just loves us. I want to wrap up with this. I found this writing that is just so powerful. It's written by a journalist. Now, don't be flipping on me like that. Okay, we'll do it this way. It's written by a journalist, Arundhati Roy. And she says this: what is this thing that has happened to us? It's a virus, yes. In and of itself, it holds no moral brief. But it's definitely more than a virus. It has made the mighty kneel and brought the world to a halt like nothing else could. Our minds are still racing back and forth, longing for the return toward normality, trying to stitch our future to our past and refusing to acknowledge the rupture. But the rupture exists. And in the midst of this terrible despair, it offers us a chance to rethink the doomsday machine we have built for ourselves. Nothing could be worse than to return to normality. Historically, pandemics have forced human beings to break with the past and imagine a world anew. This one is no different. It is a portal, a gateway between one world and the next. We can choose to walk through it, dragging the carcasses of our prejudice and hatred, our avarice, our data banks and dead ideas, our dead rivers and smoky skies behind us. Or we can walk through lightly with little baggage, ready to imagine another world and ready to fight for it. Are you ready to rise and reemerge? One thought at a time. One thought at a time, folks. That's all we have to do. And so, what we're being offered is a consistent opportunity. I'm going to close with this. I was laughing with Juanita earlier when we got here, remembering the Fram oil filter commercials, where if you didn't change your oil, you could pay me now or you can pay me later. We can change now. We can change later. We're at choice. But we're going to change. So we can pay now or we can pay later. But we're going to pay. We get to choose how much. Let's take this into prayer. Knowing that they're infinite, this one power, this pure love, is the cause, the essence, the substance, and the activity of all life, living itself in, through, and as its creation. I know that I am that. I know that every living being is that. I know that everything that appears unliving is living. That consciousness must be in everything. And that everything is alive to the degree that it is supposed to be. One. That I am one with the sand, the soil, the ocean, the air. One with every being. One with all who love. One with all who hate. One. And so I claim and affirm that I stand, that I am a visible marker, a visible activity of love, of oneness, that I am not knocked down by someone's opinion, that none of us are, that we recognize on a breath-to-breath, mindful, conscious awareness that we are God in form. We are life in form. We are love living itself. And so is everybody else. And so we look beyond appearance to the truth. And we rise from where we are. And we re-emerge loving fiercely. And that with every challenge, we meet it with a louder symbol of love. Until love is all that can be heard, drowning out anything unlike it. Creating a world anew. That we as humanity walk through the portal, free of the past, in a consciousness of Ubuntu, in a consciousness of oneness, in a celebration of every diverse, beautiful form of creation, all valued equally, no point of supremacy, because in one, there can be no supremacy. There's just the one. So grateful. I feel the vibration shift within me. I feel my heart open with gratitude as I say yes. 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 And so I let go. Because I feel within me, I know in a place that is just knowing that it is done. Not bound by the appearance in time and space. I rest in the promise that it is done. And so I let go. And I simply step into each moment of this thing I call my human life, bringing together the physical and the spiritual as one. I invite you, if you are ready, to rise and reemerge, breath to breath, that you anchor this with me as we say together. And so it is. Let's take another breath. I love you. So this is our time where we shift to our sacred giving. And part of what we discuss at every board meeting is the finances of the center. And all things considered, we're actually doing pretty well. We are operating at a deficit. Half of that deficit is actually because we had the building painted this year because it needed it. And, folks have been impacted by what's going on. And so that's okay, because what I know, just as sure as I'm standing here, is that this center is prospering. It is solvent, and everything we need already exists, and you have some of it. So this is your opportunity to participate in our solvency. Here in the room, Hillary's going to pass the basket around while we listen to Gary Lynn Floyd again. If you are online, I invite you to give through our website, www.sierracenter.org/donate.html. I am grateful for the gifts that I know we are receiving right now. Here we go.
Walk a mile or a minute in another man's shoes. He's got a path to take to find his truth. Any way you spin it, he's a lot like you. Finding his faith on roads that you never choose. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Don't let it cloud your vision. Let be your only mission. Always. Let go of the old condition. Let be your only mission. Always. Keep on walking. Right. Keep on walking. Tell a tale, you're in it, you're a brother man's blues. You got a destination now and no excuse. Why do you condemn it when it's not your own? You can't unsee it once the light has shone. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Don't let it cloud your vision. Let be your mission. Always. Let go of the old condition. Let be your only mission. Always. Keep on walking. Keep on to sing this together. It goes like this. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. That's it. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Let's keep it going. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Don't let it count your vision. Let be your only mission. Always. Let go of your own condition. Let be your only mission. Always. Don't let it count your vision. Let be your only mission. Always. Let go of your condition. Let be your only mission. Always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Let's chant it one more time for everybody. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. One foot in front of the other, hand in hand, one with another. Walk with your sister and brother always. Keep on walking. Keep on walking. Keep on walking.
So, those who have done these talks know that you lose track. You get to a certain group, and I totally forgot for us to do our conscious giving affirmation, so we're going to do that now because it still works. And I can't back up the slide, so we'll just have to wing it. I give this gift with love and joy. From a consciousness of abundance. Divine love blesses and prospers all that I have. All that I give and all that I receive. And so it is. I feel like I just did a wedding. So let me speak a word of blessing, a word of gratitude for this divine energy of the divine called money, knowing that we give through Sierra Center for Spiritual Living to do good work in the world. And so it is. Thank you. Okay, reminders. We are a praying community. And so if you have a prayer request, if you're here in the room, we have sheets over there you can fill out and put a prayer request in the box. Myself, the other ministers, and the practitioners will pray on those throughout the week. If you are joining us virtually, you can go to our website and submit a prayer request. Those come only to me. They are confidential, and then I share your prayer request with the other ministers and practitioners, and we hold you in prayer for the next week. You do not have to do this alone. You do not. In fact, it's better if we don't. That's why we come together, because we need each other. Just like my big toe needs my pinky, we need each other to be this whole body. Okay. I think that's it, other than to thank my tech team, Juanita. This morning is an interesting journey because when we use the recorded music, we have it in the room on the screen at the same time that it's live streaming. And so there is this incredible coordination of clicks that has to happen so that they're actually in sync. And she has learned this stuff really, really well. I'm just in awe of you, my dear. Thank you, Hillary, for being our greeter this morning and our usher. And ultimately, thank you, because this is way more fun. I love you out there. I feel you. And it is so much different having eyeballs to connect with and bodies. So thank you for being here. If you're comfortable, when you're comfortable joining us in person, we are here. There's one thing I wanted to say that I forgot. If you are part of our virtual community, we are exploring adding a virtual membership, because there are people out there in the virtual realm that don't have a community in their neighborhood. And so if you are one of those people and you have ideas on how membership could look for you and what that would mean for you and the benefits that we could give you, shoot me an email, Rafe@sierracenter.org, and let's start a conversation about that. The world is calling us to expand. Let's do that. All right. I think that's it. What did I do with my clicker? There it is. So here we go. Gary Lynn Floyd's going to close us out. I'll see you after the service.
In the name of love, with a heart of grace, overflow in us and decorate this place. Yeah, sing it. As it is below, so it is above. May we always stand in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. Yeah, beautiful. In the name of love. All right, here we go. In the name of love, may we always be seeking out the best until we all are free, living in a world we've been dreaming of, where we stand as one in the name of love. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one, in the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one, in the name of love. All right, here's the easy part. In the name of love. 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 Every song needs a good key change. When the veil is gone, there's only one of us, only one. In the name of love. When the day is done, we will sing this song all as one. In the name of love. All right, one more time. In the name of love. In the name of love, everything we do. In the name of love. In the name of love. Last line again. In the